Alright, and here on our news, it says Japan is doubling down on institutional XRP adoption. Now, imagine a massive titan quietly moving its pawns across the board while the rest of the world is distracted by minor price fluctuations. That is exactly what is happening in the global financial landscape right now. A massive strategic move has just been uncovered, and it proves that smart money isn't looking at the next 24 hours. They are building a multi-billion-dollar highway for long-term institutional dominance. If you think this asset is just for retail cross-border payments, you are missing the entire picture. So let's dive directly into what is developing behind closed doors. So let's start with our very first question about what just happened between Doppler Finance and SBI Digital Finance. A highly respected market observer right here, Bank XRP, recently shared an eye-opening post here on X. It highlights a strategic partnership announced on July 13, 2026, and that's between the Doppler Finance and SBI Digital Finance. This agreement targets institutional liquidity, lending, collateral management, and tokenized capital markets built explicitly around XRP. Doppler Finance is an infrastructure provider for tokenized capital markets, while SBI Digital Finance operates Hash Hub Lending, one of Japan's most established crypto asset lending networks. They are teaming up to develop institutional solutions with regulatory compliance baked straight into the approach. Now here's my opinion. This is massive because it completely changes the narrative around the asset. For years, critics complained that you couldn't earn a native yield on your holding the way you can with other layer 1 networks. Creating an institutional framework where large funds can lend their holdings or use them as collateral, it makes the token a productive asset rather than a passive one. This isn't speculation. It's infrastructure being built by serious players. Now, why is the involvement of the SBI Group a complete game changer? To understand the weight of this deal, we have to look at who is backing it. SBI Digital Finance belongs to SBI Group, Japan's largest financial conglomerate. SBI isn't new to this space. They co-founded SBI Ripple Asia way back in 2016 and hold roughly a 9% stake in Ripple itself. They have spent a decade building one of the deepest financial ecosystems focused entirely on this network. Now, my take is that you cannot overstate the importance of SBI's backing. When a multi-billion-dollar financial institutions repeatedly puts its reputation and resources behind a specific technology, it provides an unparalleled stamp of legitimacy. This tells me that the institutional interest isn't just a passing trend. It's a deep, decade-long commitment that is only accelerating as the broader financial system modernizes. Now, what specific institutional solutions are being built on the ground? According to official statements, the collaboration focuses on transforming digital assets from passive holdings into active financial capital. The blueprint covers institutional-grade lending, borrowing cash against holdings without needing to liquidate them, and handling complex collateral management within tokenized capital markets. Rax, the head of institutions at Doppler Finance, right here, he noted that expanding into Japan allows them to target one of the world's most critical institutional digital asset markets. Now, I believe this capability, borrowing against your holdings without selling them, is exactly what major funds have been waiting for. If a massive institution can secure a loan using their digital assets as collateral, they unlock tremendous capital efficiency. It creates a powerful incentive for mega corporations to accumulate and hold the token long term, reducing liquid market supply. Now, why is Japan the ideal launchpad for the capital framework? Japan has spent years establishing itself as an absolute powerhouse for digital asset innovation. The country already boasts some of the clearest, most well-defined digital asset regulations anywhere on the planet. Furthermore, it hosts one of the largest and most passionate asset communities globally. Now, here's my opinion. Japan is that clear rules create confidence investors. While other major economies are still struggling to define digital assets, Japan has provided a rock-solid, predictable legal environment. This regulatory safety allows massive conglomerates like SBI to build massive infrastructure projects without the fear of sudden legal U-turns, making it the perfect testing ground for global tokenization. Now, how does this project impact the long-term liquidity of the network? Historically, the primary use case has been fast, low-cost cross-border payments. However, this framework shifts the asset into active balance sheet utility. Adding institutional lending and collateral tools positions it as a foundation for tokenized financial infrastructure. The infrastructure built here could eventually serve as a carbon copy template for institutional finance in Western and European markets. Now, here's my opinion. I genuinely believe we are seeing a structural evolution. When huge amounts of volume get locked into lending protocols and collateral pools, it creates a much higher floor for overall network utility. We are moving away from the days of simple trading toward an era of deep institutionalized utility where the ledger acts as the backbone for modern corporate finance. Now, what is the current timeline and realistic outlook for traders? It is vital to stay grounded in reality. While the strategic framework is fully formalized, the project is still in its early formulation phases. No live consumer products have been deployed yet, and no specific capital pools have been finalized. Furthermore, full institutional adoption of these tokenized frameworks under Japan's updated rules isn't expected to fully mature until 2027. So my view is that patience is key here. This framework isn't designed to spark a massive retail rally tomorrow morning. It is an enterprise-grade long game. As a market observer, I find it incredibly reassuring to see this level of groundwork being laid down because it proves that the long-term fundamentals are stronger than they have ever been, regardless of short-term market noise. And finally, here is our overall conclusion. When you look at the entire landscape, the message is clear. The formalized partnership between Doppler Finance and SBI Digital Finance represents a massive leap forward for institutional utility. By focusing heavily on compliant lending, collateral management, and tokenized capital markets, these entities are transforming the asset into productive capital, financial capital. Even though these frameworks will take time to fully mature and roll out into the active markets, the fact that Japan's largest financial conglomerate is leading the charge tells us everything we need to know. The structural foundation for global enterprise adoption is being assembled brick by brick. So keep your eyes on the long-term data, watch the infrastructure growth, and stay disciplined. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next one, or you might just as well check this next recommended video right here.